Welcome to this episode of Your Music, Your Story. Today we're talking with Anthony from the band The Guilty Parties. How's it going?
It's going good, as you can see from my shirt. I'm a big fan of my own band. I can't. There it is.
So, just out of curiosity, if you're in Texas, right?
Yes.
How does that work?
Um, the benefit of being the one that's been in charge of everything for years is I can be gone and still rule the band with an iron fist. Which is why we don't do a whole lot. But so like for booking shows and writing music, everything's remote and it's just I try to plan around my schedule and the rest of the band and when I can come out and when airfare is cheap, we make an appearance together.
So you guys do your practicing, or do you even do practicing online? I guess, or I don't know online, but tele
No,
whatever.
so you'll have when it's showtime, the guys will get together and then I'll usually fly in the night before. We'll do one practice with everyone and the wives will all sit around and watch us do our thing and we'll get silly, get practiced and kind of pull it all together last minute, just like we've done our entire career.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I agree
Not
with
at all.
that. So how often do you come out and play shows if you're coming out for Texas?
So in the past, I'd say year and a half, we've only been able to do about 3 shows. um it's just a matter of getting the right show. We've had some offers that would have been cool, but they're maybe too late notice, or it wasn't really conducive to me flying out, which was a bummer. Like, I wouldn't mind if the band was like, yeah, we'll get a standby bassist, but I would be afraid that they might be better than me. So I'm not going to let them call like, Jason Hatfield or anything like that.
No.
He's too good looking.
Yeah, he got some sweet moves.
Yeah. He tried actually the last show, well, not the last show we played, a couple of shows last summer. He tried to give me his shorts to wear on stage, and I politely declined.
No, Jay.
No, I
No.
said, Jay, I don't have the curvature for those sparkles. That's all you, buddy.
He had some weird outfits. Oh, good old Jay. Good old Jay. So, who all is in Guilty Parties with you? Who do all do you got in there?
Ooh, well, we have a lot of not so original members, but a lot of guys that have been in the band for 15 years. So James Baylor is our singer. He's an original member. Jeff Papp is our guitar player. He's an original member. And then you get into the later crew who has been around since before the John Martinez, although also original member. He plays Barry and tenor sax. And then we have me. I play bass guitar. Our drummer Nick Barnes, and we were both in the band. We came later, but we were in the band before our first album. And then there's John Gutierrez, who has been in the band since 2006, and unfortunately for him, hasn't been on a full length album. And then we finally have um, Jeff Gerard, but he goes by Bix because you can't have two Jeffs and two Johns in the same band. It's too much work.
There's too much confusion.
Yes, and he plays trombone, and he used to play for like La Banda Scalavera, and he plays for Red Store Bums.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite the numbers. So, at a question, when you had one of the albums that have had the we're out of the band.
Oh yeah,
That one you have a female singing. So
yeah.
did you have a female at some point in the band, or is she like a guest appearance? What
She
was
was
that?
she was in I think like a jazz singing class with our original singer, and he really liked her voice, and we kind of wanted to do like a with that song. It's called the finale. We want to do like a take on like Brandy and Monica, The Boy Is Mine, where you have two singers going back and forth. And in this case, we had her being kind of the wedge between two friends. And it was really cool to have her. He brought her into the studio. I don't even know if I have met her. She may have performed it once with us. But it's a really fun song, and I think she did a great job.
Okay, nice. So yeah, on that one, so at first, my first down got some of your albums. They had "We're Out of the Band" and "You're Out of the Band." So at first, I didn't see the "You're" and the "Were," and I'm like, why do I have two of the same albums?
Yeah.
Then I had to catch it.
Oh yeah. So we're the first album was You're Out of the Band, and it's a not so subtle reference to the fact that we kicked our drummer out of the band 2 weeks before we recorded it.
Take that, dude.
Yeah. And we love him. He ended up joining years later on trombone. But We're Out of the Band was kind of we had a bunch of garage recordings that we were using as demos. And I just decided, I was like, all right, guys, we're never going to finish this album. I'm just putting it out. And if you have a problem with it, I live 1,500 miles away. So come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah. And they're not the best recordings, but I do love the songs. So that's the joke was we hadn't played in so long that we weren't really a band. So we were all out of the band.
And is that where the next album came from? Like,
yes. So hopefully, we'll hear something from us in the next, I'm going to be optimistic and say year, and we'll have an actually studio recorded album, but
So now how would that work? Would you come out here, like record it all out here, you fly out here to do your parts, or would you do them out there and just mix them somewhere?
I would definitely do them here. I have a home studio. I mean, if they wanted to come here, we can record the entire thing here. But a lot of that album was actually recorded in 2008, and we've just been sitting on it because we've been waiting for horns and vocals for 15 years. So we'll get there in due time.
I thought because the last album that I did, when I did the drums and guitars, I think I started in March and I was done April. It didn't take very long. The whole rest of the year was just trying to do lyrics. And I thought I was bad doing it, taking a year.
Yeah, no, we're trying. If we get it within 2 decades, I think we've done our job.
Hey,
Plan.
You did your thing.
Yeah, I mean, I recorded the bass parts 15 years ago, and the rest of the guys, good luck to them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So just a whole new batch of songs that you're just waiting for.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the funny thing is, we're not one of those bands that will wait to play new songs live until they're recorded. I mean, we've been playing some of these songs since the end of 2006. So, to us, they're old classics. To everyone else, they're like, oh wow, what are these?
These are new. No,
yeah. Wow. I love that new song. So some of your other songs, one that I found was kind of made me chuckle was one of your singles, Party All the Time. Oh yeah.
Definitely. It sounded like a little bit of a change of style a little bit.
Okay. Girl, I can't understand it. Why you wanna hurt me? After all of the things I've done for you, I buy you champagne and roses, put diamonds on your finger. Diamonds. Stay, hang out all night. What am I to do? My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time. Girl, I see you at night just hanging out and dancing. You give your number to every man you see, and I hate that. Girl, you're never at home because you're out romancing. I wish you'd bring some of your love home to me, but my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. party down. She likes to party all the time. She likes to party all the time. I mean, you don't have to give your number to every man you see. I can understand if you like to party. Even I'm down to party once a week on the weekend. If you're out every night dancing, sorry, Charlie Murphy, I was having too much fun.
So that's an Eddie Murphy cover, and the illustrious singing career of Eddie Murphy was short but beautiful. And what had happened was our singer was interested and a singer and I were interested in doing a cover, and this is before the band had like gotten back together. And when the band got back together, we're like, hey, let's do this. Let's do a cover of this song. And in true Guilty Parties fashion, he demoed the song out, sang some stuff, sent it to me. I did my part, and then we sent it to our drummer, and he was like, yeah, I don't want to record this, because he was like, the electronic drums are perfect for this song. He's like, anything that I do will make it sound worse. So our guitar player put down some guitar parts, and then our singer, re-sang his parts and added some synth on it. And I was like, well, that's a wrap. Let's not rely on the horns. Love you guys, but we don't need you for this one.
That's pretty cool. So how long did it take you to do that one? Was it pretty quick?
It was pretty quick. I think James sent me he sent me the demo, and I'm a teacher, so it was summer vacation. So I think I recorded something like the next day, and then our drummer, got back to us maybe a week later and was like, everything I try sounds worse than the electronic drums. So he was like, let's just roll with those. And our old singer put down some background tracks, and James had sent me his parts, and I just kind of took a few takes, put them all together, and we popped it out. I don't even think I waited to do any like advertising. I was so excited to actually release something. I was like, all right, it's Monday, it'll be out Thursday, or whenever streaming services can actually put them up. I'm an expert at marketing.
Nice. So you mentioned you're a teacher. What do you teach?
I teach 8th grade science.
Oh, how is that?
It's a lot of fun. I've taught it all. So I mean, I've taught language arts, I've taught history, I've taught math the longest, and science is a lot of fun. It's a lot of grading.
Oh, really?
I have 185 students, so it's
Holy cow.
it's a task.
How many periods? You have one period every period you have a class, or do you get a break in there?
We have what we call block scheduling. So I see the kids every other day. So on we have red and green day. So on red day, I'll see 3 classes, and on green day I'll see 3 classes. So I'll have a total of 6 classes.
Holy cow, but 180 students between just those 6?
Now we pack them in here.
I would say you do.
Yeah. The only thing that I could ask for was better air conditioning in my classroom, but you can only get so much of it.
Do you do any cool experiments?
So I one of the best things I've done this year is I just went off script, and I was like, hey guys, you want to see a chemical reaction? And then we have those soapstone desks like you see in a science classroom. So it's not like a the wooden desk or anything. It's those hard, like black, cold desktops. And I have a counter like that. And I just poured some rubbing alcohol on the countertop and just lit it on fire. And I was like, hey, there it is. Why is this a chemical reaction? And then we just, I started taking things, and I was like, all right, will it burn? Let's find out. And, maybe maybe could have clued someone in that I was going to be playing with fire, but we have a fire blanket and fire extinguishers, and it worked out. And it was a lot of good discussion about what the evidence of a chemical reaction looks like, smells like, and even sounds like sometimes. So it was a good time. It just freestyling.
Oh heck yeah! Oh heck yeah! That's awesome. I'm sure that'll be one of those classes that they'll just always remember.
Oh yeah,
when you start stuff on fire.
And then there's, anytime there was an absent kid, it was like, oh, we got to light the desk on fire. And I was like, yes, we did. You should have been here.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's good to have good teachers. I mean, just every time we talk with people that are teachers, man, I just wish there were cool teachers like that when I was a kid.
Yes, same. That's why I do it.
Yeah. Teachers.
I had some bummers. I had a teacher that did handstands, and that was pretty cool. And he let us bring in music and for poetry, and I got to talk about the aquabats. So I mean, like, I was living my best life. But I had a lot of teachers that I don't know what they were doing, and I don't know how they had a job, but I hope they're retired and enjoying that and not in a classroom anymore.
Oh, for sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of them like that. The funnest one I had is in high school. We took construction.
Ooh.
And that guy, he just did not care about just about anything. So it was a 2-period class, and it was the first ones during the day. And it was off campus. We was at this they put us over at I think it was a elementary school that they closed down because it was on the Navy base that was there, but they still let us on. So we were the only ones in this whole entire school. And he just didn't care. So he would just always tell us about the beer that he brewed the weekend before, and that he wasn't going to share it with anybody because he didn't like us.
Oh,
But he was funny though. And sometimes when it would rain, he'd be like, "Okay, we're going to have a class at the donut shop. Let's go."
Hey, I'll take that.
But all right. Another one that I enjoyed off your singles release was "It's About Time."
Sun covered by the clouds is going to set sometime, and Earth's shadow will fill the night sky. There's nothing to fear in the darkness. All at once I realize my path has already been charted. I should not be surprised. It's about time that it has come for me. Well, it's about time that nature has caught up with me. It felt like no time. I wish that it would set me free. Stars outshined by the moon are going to disappear, and the sunlight will burn the morning sky. Clenching my fist, my heart is pounding. Another sleepless night, I fear. Fated to follow my father's footsteps. Feel it coming ever near.
That was the first song I had actually mixed, and that has our old singer on it. And that is a very involved song. There's a lot of instrumentation on that song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How did you write that? Like, who does the primary of your writing? Who does most of your writing for the band?
I think that's one of the hardest things about the band now is like it was never someone brings a song and here's the song. It was I like this little diddle that I did. I like this little riff. Like I started playing that intro bass, that kind of like piratey, doom 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 doom. And our guitar player had another part, and we were like, hey, like these kind of line up. Let's put them together. So we would always have little pieces or little scraps, and we would stitch them together to make music. And I can take credit for the intro, and then our guitar player John can take credit for I think the choruses, and then our other guitar player was like, "Oh yeah, I have these like cool little kind of like ska scratchy parts that are going to come up." And I think that organic creation is how everything came together, which is a struggle for us now that we're all separate. But yeah, that was a group effort for sure.
Oh, that's so. Are how many of you are kind of spread out? Because I know you
So
talked about one lives out like I was going to say Turkover,
yeah, I mean, may as well be Turkover, Turlock.
Turtle, right?
And yeah,
Turlock.
so that's our singer. And most of the guys now are concentrated in Riverside. We have uh our sax player, I believe, lives in Los Angeles, but most of them are in the same area now, which when they have to practice without me, it makes it a lot easier. But um the four of us that are, especially I guess the three of us that are really writing new stuff, are the ones that are the furthest apart.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, how are they going to practice without the bass? I mean, the bass without the ska. I mean, that's like peanut butter and jelly sandwich without the peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the best part is it always sounds so much better when I'm there. So I like to take credit for any good sound that we have. Uh,
That
but
was that was me.
it was all me, guys. Like you guys were so bad without the bass. Don't ever drop me, please. Don't ever realize that you can find another bassist close to home.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's really bad, guys. Listen to yourselves. You're awful. But they our drummer Nick is he's like a metronome. He's on it. Our guitar players, they play things so some of the things they're just, I mean, I'm not going to say they're ignoring me, but they're they've got so many things going on that they're in time with Nick. I think Nick is just keeping the beat on everything, that they don't really need me. They just sound better with me. So please don't ever kick me out, guys.
I still want to be part of the band, dude.
Don't want to be part of the band. Don't make the next album about kicking me out.
Yeah, what would that next album be? Then you have to go with you.
Yeah, it's probably just like, this is our best album ever. Oh, okay, thanks.
So I don't know if you had posted, like maybe it was a week or two ago, or you were tagged in a post that you had done for some recording.
Yes.
Like what was that about?
So I had posted, I'm trying to think of the specific post. I had been doing some recording. I brought a friend over in the Houston area, and it was our first time kind of getting together, just jamming. And we started talking about the Chinkies, Mike Park's band. And I had just gotten the vinyl for the first three Chinkies albums, and I love that first album, The Chinkies Are Coming. So I told my friend, like, hey, you want to listen to this? Like, we should play something like this. And he picked it up, and he was like, let's do it right now. So he's got a knack for just hearing something, getting that rhythm, and then just playing it right away. So he listened to the song like two or three times, and while he was learning the drum parts, I was like, okay, I don't know the bass part, but I mean, I've been listening to this album for 25 years, so I can figure it out.
I got this.
Yeah, and we just put it together, and he recorded, and I ended up I recorded a rough track, but I actually recorded the actual bass for it yesterday. Did a few takes, and it sounds pretty cool. So I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but I'm sure I'll shoot it out into the world and get that into people's ears, because it's just fun to record and have good sounding recordings. Finally, we're not I mean, technically this is a garage studio, but we're not in a garage anymore. It's got soundproofing and everything.
Now you guys are fancy.
Oh yeah.
Pinky's out.
Yeah, I'm not on the $600 a month budget that I used to be on in my minimum wage days.
Oh, those old days. Oh, those old days. So another song that I enjoyed listening to. Now I may be partial to this one just because my name is Jeff, but off your you're out of the band. That song number 1, Jeff song.
And they don't let me tell the truth. Can I just stay on the day? I don't wanna give up everything just to pray. They marked us directly to our fate. Fight the devil, they told us to wait. Parents support every move. They're minded, but they have to lose. So many things take out minds. Oh, can I get an army? Oh, you won't see me fighting on the front line. The point of life is to simply stay alive. Just today, learn you burn if you don't think I will. I learned that we're nothing but sheep. Stay within our leaders' heart is sweet, and it's so wrong to be gay. Learn that being lefty is the wrong way. We don't have any voice about it. Mindless ignorance of such rules that need not be. Yeah.
So that was a song where the reason why we called it Jeff's song is Jeff was like, "Hey, I have this little thing," and it was the part, and we wrote a song based off of that, and it's a really cool song. It's one we haven't played live, even when we were playing regularly. We haven't played live in a long time, but it's really high intensity. It has a lot of energy, and the bass is a lot of fun to play. And lyrically, our old singer had written it about kind of just as a criticism of the church, just saying like there's so many things that you can't do, or like, especially in old tradition, like being left-handed is bad, and uh, just stuff like that. And as silly as some of our songs are, we still like to get serious and have some of our opinions out there. And it is a really good song, and I wish we did play more.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I got a chuckle out of it. Now it could be maybe because it's a Jeff song.
Hey, you know what? We only have two Jeffs. We can have another one in the band. I know you can play bass, so please don't come to practice with a bass.
Well, so did you know Dave Alarcon, right? Everybody needs to know Dave. So I played with him, and we did Retcons and Uncover Monsters, and I stopped playing, I think, around 2015. And mostly, I mean, I'm not like I'm old. I'm only 45, but I'm like, man, I don't want to go to bed at midnight. I want to go to bed at 1 or even 11. So yeah, I haven't done. I'll still do my own stuff, and I haven't really cared too much about playing in bands again. But yeah, ever since starting this podcast, I'm just like, oh man, hear all this good music. It's like, man, I want to play in a band again.
Yeah. Stay away from those parties, okay? Just stay away.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about.
But it is fun. I do want to do the same thing here. I would love to get something started out in Houston, not to replace the guilty parties, but to supplement, when I have more free time out here and don't have to pay to fly out to in any locations. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, just anything. So is there a ska scene kind of out there, or would you do a ska? Would you do something different, or just
I would definitely do ska. Like that's my first love. There is a ska scene. Like I feel like an idiot that I was out here for so long and I didn't realize there was a ska scene. There's a band called The Suspects. I knew about Scarnalis, but I didn't know how active they were. So there's a smaller scene out here, and it's really cool. There's bands like Fusca and the Scatastrophics, but it's definitely not like it was growing up in Southern California. There's a lot of like house shows and backyard shows, and then you'll get the 18 plus and 21 plus shows, but it's not like it was growing up where there were ska shows in venues everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Oh, the old times.
Yeah, those were the days. And then obviously too, being 38, I'm not just able to go to a show last minute, and I have two children and my wife, and I don't want to just leave them for a show. But the bigger touring bands will come to Houston every other year or so, which is a bummer. We get skipped a lot. Yeah. It's just that we have to compete with Dallas and in Austin, and Texas is a really big state, so they have to drive through it after the shows, which makes it kind of tough.
So how far? Well, the longest drive I ever made in my entire life. So I was up at Utah State in Logan, and the guy that was in a band with in high school, he had joined the Air Force, and so he was in San Antonio. And he's like, "Come on, dude, move down here. We'll start up the band." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, longest drive of my life, El Paso to San Antonio, Judas Priest."
When I moved from California, I was living in Lake Elsinore at the time, and it was closer. El Paso was closer to Lake Elsinore than it was where I was living in Houston. I was like, why is this state so big?
Whose dumb idea was this?
Who did this?
Lone Star.
Hey, and there's just a big desert out there. What are you doing, guys? Why?
Yeah, oh Texas. Oh, Texas. But you're on at least the green side of Texas. Isn't that where Houston's at a little more?
Oh yeah, very green. Rain. I mean, it might be raining right now. It's been every few days we've been getting a lot of rain, and it's nice because we experienced our first real drought here in maybe a decade last year. And I was like, guys, you don't even know. Like, this is what it's like every summer in Riverside.
It gets hot and humid out there, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's nasty. It is socially acceptable to sweat out here, so that's nice. If you're rocking big pit stains, no one's looking at you because they also have them. But it's something else. I believe you're in Moreno Valley, right?
yeah.
So in Moval, you can go out and get some shade, and it'll be a little cooler. In Houston, if you get some shade, you just will get less sunburn, but you'll still be just drenched in sweat.
Still be all gross.
So gross.
So what took you out to Houston?
So I was visiting my dad. He had just gotten a job here, and we were here for a few days, and we went to a baseball game, and my future wife came up to me and said hello, and that was that. Just a random stranger. Her and a friend came and say hi, and I think it was a year and a half later I moved out here.
There goes the band, dude.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, lucky for me, the Guilty Parties had already broken up, so I was playing with Half Past Two at the time, and they have definitely gone on to bigger and better things since I left. So. But they took some time off, retooled, revamped, and came back. So it worked out.
But hey, nothing wrong with that. That's just got to be rough to have to fly out here. I mean, it's kind of like if you're going to fly out here, you got to make it at least a better show rather than
exactly
whatever bar with 5 people.
Yeah, that's what makes it tough. And we've been lucky, we played the wet hot Ska American Summer with Half Past Two last year, and it was a big show. We played the House of Blues with Chase Long Beach, and I think we were like 27, 28 tickets from selling that out. So those were really big shows. It was the Parish Room, but still, I'm proud of it. It was a lot of fun. And then we had done Romano's for our reunion show. So we've played 3 really awesome shows. So as long as the quality stays up, my wife is totally cool with us just flying out there and doing our thing, and then flying back and coming back to the real world.
And how long do you come out for? Is it just 1 or 2 days? You come out for a weekend or what?
So when we went out for the summer, we spent like 5 days out here. Went to Disneyland, and then when we did our show in September, it was Friday night to Sunday morning, just bop, just in time to do a practice with the band, to play the show, and then to find our merry way home.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
It's a tough turnaround, especially on the way back, because we leave here at maybe, even if it's 6 or 7 in the morning, we don't get back home until 1:30, 2 o'clock local time.
Because you guys have 2 hours, right? 2 hours difference in here?
Yes.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, I'm used to no sleep anyway. I have 2 kids.
Dang it.
Yeah.
So I'll have to say, though, my favorite song that you guys have done has got to be Guilty Skankin'.
Yes.
I've sang along to that song quite a few times.
I love that song so much. Love that song.
She was sitting in class, looking so depressed. Her eyes filled with tears because she failed the last test. Now the teacher's in the front, he's giving a spiel. He's telling her to listen up, he's such a big deal. She gets up on her desk, throws her books in the air, starts kicking her legs and swinging her hair. Or what you doing? No, what you doing? No, what you doing? She was skankin'. She was skankin'. At a girl skankin'. You should be skankin'. He was working like a dog, yeah, he'd rather be dead. Okay. Eat at lunch, but he'd rather eat a bullet instead. But he's gotta do his job, cause he's gotta pay his bill, like the car and the phone and the rent and the meals. All we have to do is move. All we have to do is move. All we have to do is move around. A voice in his head said his life isn't right. Man, if I had it my way, I'd be dancing all night. So what's he doing? What's he doing? But what's he doing? He was skankin'. Skankin'. And a boy did a job, gotta go, gotta go. He was skankin'. He was skankin'. What you gonna do when you get back home? You're gonna watch TV in your room alone. You're gonna go on the internet and Google search boobs, or play Halo, pwn some noobs. You want that Romco Pio? Said it, forget it. You can't buy shit because you got bad credit. You think about the things you wished you would've done. Wanna do everything besides have fun? No. Skankin'. Got a girl, let him know. Feel the music, let it flow. We was skankin'. We was skankin'.
A newer one?
Newer in the sense that it was started in 2008 and then we finished recording it in 2021. So yeah, that was a fun one. I love that song so much, and it was a very painful process to record that, because it was the first time I had ever really managed recording stuff. When we did It's About Time, our old singer kind of organized, he played saxophone, he had a friend play trombone, he did all the singing and everything like that. In this one, it was like, all right, guys, John, our sax player, he hadn't played his sax in, I think at that point he hadn't played a sax, really in years, when he played his Barry sax.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, there was some rough takes, but I did a little studio magic and made it happen. I have a feeling we're going to re-record horns and everything like that. I had a friend that I was working with, our band director at the school I was at the time, lay down trumpet and trombone, and James, did his our singer did his alto sax. So that was cool. Just putting all that together and getting it all polished up. And then lyrically, I think that's the first song I've ever contributed to with lyrics, which was really cool, hearing something I'd written I'd never done before actually sung.
Was it kind of weird to hear your voice singing?
Yeah, it was really cool, because we had our original lyrics, and that's probably 50% of the song. And then James and I kind of collaborated and put the rest of it together. I kind of gave him, this is what I want. And he said, okay, well, there's too many words. You need to pull that back. Let me adjust it. And then he added his own flavor to it, like that Ron Popeil sign or reference, the set it, forget it. I don't have the lyrical acumen to come up with something like that. That was all James' genius.
That song is definitely fun to listen to. I mean, it's just a fun ska catchy song.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. Even my daughter will once in a while kind of sing the horn line just in passing. I can't think of a thing I could be more proud of.
Warms the soul.
It really does. It really does.
That's what I like to hear. So another question I do have for you. So when I downloaded the albums, I just kind of put them on and I'd play them when at work. So there's a couple times that I wasn't really paying attention. So I don't know, and I've tried to go back and find it. Is there some song about your mom and your girlfriend or something like that?
Oh, yes. Yes. So that song's called Payback.
Baby, you got me working for almost no pay. And baby, I've been working every single day. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing is wrong. Well, I probably should have known all along. You're leaving me, girl. You're giving up the ghost. You were never the one that I loved the most. Yeah, baby, there were others, maybe one or two. In fact, there's probably something that I think I should tell you. Baby, I had sex with your best friend. I had sex with your mom. I had sex with your sister all night long. I had sex with your best friend. I had sex with your mom. I had sex with your sister all night long. Does it feel, girl, when the tables are turned? If this was second page, your ass would be Indian burned. I said that I'm sorry, but to tell the truth, mama, not well. Your mama's got some big ass titties, and your sister is hot. How long were we together? I don't know, you do the math, but all I know is you got the last laugh. Don't cry yet, girl, because my story is not done. You know your little brother, well, he's probably my son. I had sex with your best friend. I had sex with your mom. I had sex with your sister all night long. I fucked your best friend. I cornholed your mom. Gave your sister a JFK all night long. In the car with your best friend. In your bed with your mom. Your sister wanted a Cleveland steamer, but that's just wrong. Missionary with your best friend. Doggy style with your mom. I gave your sister a chili dog. That shit was a bomb. with your best friend. I had sex with your mom. I had sex with your sister all night long. I had sex with your best friend. I had sex with your mom. I had sex with your sister all night long. I had sex with your best friend, yeah. I had sex with your mom. I had sex with your sister all night long. All night long. Had sex with your best friend. I had sex with your mom. I had sex with your sister all night long. But not your dad.
That song is that's a favorite that I don't know if we'll ever be able to top that in terms of comedy. Like that's a classic, and that's our sax player John wrote that. He came up with, I think he brought that entire song to us, just had the guitar part, and he wrote the horn parts and wrote, if not all of the lyrics, most of the lyrics. And that's a funny one.
Oh, that cracks me up.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
a question on that one too. So on those ones, you have on the label the song, it says 2004. So were those older recordings that you just put together in that album?
So on that one, you got it from Bandcamp, so you might have both the acoustic and the garage version. And we actually, the first time we ever played that song, we played it acoustic on a web radio show.
Oh, what?
Yeah, there was I forgot the name of the show. But it was one of those things. It was kind of like a live podcast type thing, and we were in a living room, and we played it. I think we had a trumpet player. I was playing a classical guitar as a bass, and our guitar player was there, and I think our drummer was just banging on the back of a guitar.
Hey, you got to make it work.
Oh yeah, it was fun. That's a very NSFW, not safe for work song.
But it is funny.
It is hilarious. So, that one's only for the people who buy the Bandcamp version. That's a special treat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I have a feeling, we have a recording of that. We just, need those aforementioned horns and vocals.
For real. So on whatever album that you are going to release in the future, how many songs you have on that one?
So I think we're looking at 8 for now. And then our songs are so long, that's probably going to put us in the half an hour plus territory.
That's like a Metallica album.
Yeah. So I'm of two minds on that. I'm like, okay, should we put out the stuff that we started forever ago and then focus on new stuff? Not that, the older stuff is outdated, but it's like, okay, that way we can get a consistent recording. Next time we finish this up, next time we just go into a studio and record. So because I have a feeling like if we do this and then we record more stuff all together in a studio, that you might hear like an imbalance, it just in terms of, studio quality and consistency. But, I can't say for sure what the plans for the band are because we're too scatterbrained.
Well, hey, at least you got something going somewhat.
Yes.
Even if it's taken a decade and a half.
Yeah, as long as it's not 2 decades. That's when the real problems come.
That's where the line is drawn.
That's where it is. I had hair when this album was started, and now it's all on my face. Yeah. No, please don't look at me.
Now you're all grown and old.
Yeah, I play bass guitar. I stand in the back, guys. Don't look at me. Look at the singer.
What got you started on playing bass? Like, what was that? Where did that start?
So I think the only one in the band. Yeah, the only one in the band that didn't do marching band, didn't do anything like that. I really wanted to play like trumpet as a kid, and I think it's fourth grade is when they start letting you do that stuff. But I always heard my parents like just complaining about money, and I thought that they had to like buy stuff. So I just totally kept those musical intentions to myself. And I was like, I guess I'll never play. We're poor. That's when like you would ask for something and they'd make a big deal of it being like $5 or like an action figure or something like that.
Then you feel bad.
Yeah. So like, I guess I had that guilt in me and I was like, I can't, I won't do it. I won't do it. Um, so I actually didn't get an instrument until I was in 11th grade. I starting eighth grade year. I started going to like a bunch of ska shows. And when I realized that I wanted that to be my life, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to learn something. And I was like, maybe I won't, maybe I'll just go to shows. But I had some friends that were in choir and they all, grew up with music in the church. They were at the LDS church in Rubidoux. And so music was a big part of their lives. So my friend Johan was a drummer. My friend Mike wanted to play guitar. Our friend Nephi was planning on playing guitar. And then my friend Jeff was going to play guitar. And I would have loved to play guitar, but there was already three of them.
You don't need four. It's
No,
a journey.
yeah, and as the biggest guy, I remember Nephi saying like, "Well, you're gonna have to play bass," and then he got a bass and was like, "Well, you're not gonna play bass." But at that time, I got a bass for Christmas. My parents were cool enough to get me one, and for a couple of years, it was kind of like almost a room decoration. I played a little bit, but never was serious. And then the Guilty Parties, they had hit me up to do a flyer for one of their shows. So I was an admin on a ska board. So I was like a moderator and made sure to delete posts when people, got out of line or, posted pictures of butts or something like that. Just, the good stuff of the internet. And
I can't imagine that ever happening on a board.
on a message board. No way.
Who'd have thunk?
The things I've seen. Let's ugh.
That's the dark time of your life.
It is very much so. But they had asked me to do a flyer, and I did a flyer for their show. And of course, when the first time I did it, I called them the Guilty Pleasures. Didn't know who they were.
Would you like on accident? Or
On
not?
accident, had no idea. And then I remember one of their guys had messaged me and was like, so we're the Guilty Parties and you put pleasures. My bad. And it was for a show at a KFC in Woodcrest.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh yeah. It was in a KFC parking lot. And I remember showing up and going and it's kind of befriending the band. And their bassist was going to college. And whoops, that was my wedding ring. It fell off. I promise my wife still loves me. So anyway, my friend Anthony was playing bass in another band. At the time, I think they were called Better Than Nothing. And legend has it that he didn't like the Guilty Parties. He thought they were like too poppy and like, the Riverside Moreno Valley scene is defined by, Assorted Jelly Beans, Voodoo Glow Skulls, Falling Sickness, just
Yeah.
harder bands. Even the Skeletones, who aren't really a hard band, they have an attitude about them. There's Riverside's you're going to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, being a little tougher, one of the dirt people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he told them, he knew I played bass and played poorly, and he was an amazing, still is, I'm sure. I don't get to see him play often, but an amazing bassist. And he was like, yeah, hit up Anthony, he's good, the other Anthony. So they were like, hey, yeah, like you want to play bass for us? Like sight unseen, had never heard me play in their lives.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I got their demo CD, and I had no idea what I was doing. No, I don't, no musical theory. couldn't tell you what notes I was playing on the bass guitar. I had, some 5 Iron Frenzy and Jeffrey's Fan Club's tabs printed out, and that's what I was doing in my bedroom. But I just sat and tried to learn the album, and showed up to practice one day with their old bassist and kind of ran through some of the songs just extremely poorly. James kind of pulled some of the guys to the side apparently and was like, I don't know if this is the guy.
Who's this dude?
Yeah, and thankfully, I don't, whether it was for a lack of options or because they knew that I had some cachet on the ska boards, that they let me in, and it took a while, but I figured it out.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you're doing pretty good on those albums or
Oh,
songs.
yeah, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I just love ska enough to just devote myself to it, and it worked out. But I was bad before I joined the band, really bad.
Well, you definitely made some progress, that's for sure.
I appreciate that.
I mean, that's one thing that you always know about ska. They always have good bass players, good drummers, bass players. I mean,
Yeah.
they always have horns and all the other stuff, but usually it's the bass player, the better of the bunch. Then you got the bass drummer, and then the rest of them.
Oh yeah, and it's funny too. We actually had a trombone player that joined not long after me, and I think he got a master's degree in bass guitar, so he's
Oh wow!
like crazy good. So he would be like, "Oh hey, yeah, like at practice, hey, can I goof around on that?" And he'd just go wild.
Give me that back right
Yeah.
now.
And I would look at him and I'm like, "Oh no, they're gonna kick me out." But thank goodness he is love him to death, was the biggest flake on the planet.
Oh,
And that he would just, his excuse was like, "Oh man, I can't do that. I have a thing." It's like, "Oh, okay,
don't
cool.
worry, the rest of us do too.
Yeah, thank you for having a thing. Otherwise, you would have been playing bass." So he's phenomenal bassist. So like, and that's the thing too. Growing up, I just I listened to so many good bass players that, there was just a lot to steal from. That's where I learned.
So, have you learned any kind of a music theory lately, or do you just feel play by ear? How's that working?
So for the longest time, I played by ear. There were even times in the studio where our producer, who was a bass player, was like, "Hey, do you know that note you're playing there isn't in key?" And I was like, "I absolutely do not know."
Thank you for pointing that out.
I was like, "Is that a bad thing?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, And I was like, "Well, does it sound bad there?" And he goes, "No." And I was like, "Can we leave it?" Like, right? Like that's cool, right? That's a thing. I can play out of key. And he's just like, "All right, dude, you big dummy, just go ahead and leave it in there." But recently, exactly. Recently, in the last couple of years, I'd even say in the last year, I've been learning music theory, because I have all these guitars, and I'm like, what am I doing sitting here with Telecasters and Stratocasters and just playing Green Day on them? Like I could do more than that. So I've been learning a lot in terms of scales and creating notes and stuff like that, just so I can record some things on my own and just have fun with it. Just it's easier to have fun with music when you know what you're doing.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. All right, Anthony. Well, thank you for joining me on this little episode. It's been fun. And I still say that Guilty Skanking, that's got to be one of my favorite songs.
I appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. I love that song as well. So
Well, I have one more question on that. So, are you guys going to, when you do your 8 songs, let's just say you do your 8 and you're wherever, are you going to release the 8? Are you going to do singles, or how is that going to work?
I think the goal is to get them all together and figure it out from there. Shop it around and see if anyone's willing to put it out, put promotion behind it. But I think the goal is we've strung people along far enough. Let's get them an album to listen to.
Are you going to do videos with them also?
As much as I would like to, it's a matter of getting the guys in California to do it. but I think we could be motivated enough to do some videos, do some fun, and if not, hire up people to kind of put the story on a music video and at least appear in it. So
Well,
I think that'd be cool.
So do you guys have any shows scheduled for right now?
As of right now, we're looking to the summer and the fall. We have a couple of potential things that we can hopefully get on, or just put a big show on together. I think the plan is, if the Guilty Parties are playing it, it's going to be pretty big, and it's going to be worth going to for sure.
Well, especially for you.
Yeah.
You're not just driving down the road.
No. The plane tickets aren't getting any cheaper. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's got to hurt. But all righty. Well, yeah, again, thanks for joining me. It's been fun, and good luck out there in Texas. I mean, I thought it was hot out here.
Yeah. No, it's a different animal out here.
Yeah. Well, all's good. All right. Thanks, Andy. Anthony, and have a good evening or afternoon. I guess it still is for now.
It'll be a good one for sure.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Have we not learned our lesson? Find the cure and hold the power. Infected with deception. Share the cure, enhance the
Stuck inside today, same as yesterday, with the exponential spread of opposing evidence.
Why did they forget?
Discount science,
Allowing judgment
to fall into some
they
science,
underestimate
power of logic,
another casualty.
of unchecked markets. It's not the headlines of ruling elite, it's the mindless replication of contagious deceit.
Our society relies on true information so we can direct the course of our nation.
How makes common sense? Have we not learned our lesson?
Find the cure and hold the power.
Infected with deception.
Share the cure, enhance the power.
Truth is the blood of society, it brings sustenance to the mind. The governing body can't function if the heart is falsified. When the pathogens attack our system, then the antibodies must react. Even a body without symptoms must defend and prevent contact. Just avoid contact. Have we not learned our lesson?
Find the cure and hold the power.
Infected with deception.
Share the cure, enhance the power.
Now that we're the free press, it's up to us to distinguish facts from opinions, rationalizing your normalcy bias, and the lies spread faster still. When will we learn our lesson? Nothing spreads faster than lies.